Hello, everyone. Yes, it's another episode of the Kitchen Witch Supernatural Cooking and Tarot Show. Hello, everyone. I know it's been a minute. I am going to show you how to make haluski, which is a Polish side dish. It is yummy, very, very easy to make, very rich, perfect for those cold winter nights. And I also have a crock pot of beef stroganoff going. So I figured since I have to cook noodles for that, I may as well make a batch of haluski. So basically all it is bacon, onions, garlic, cabbage, all sauteed together, and then you toss your egg noodles with it, and it is deliciousness. Now, I'm going to try to make mine a little bit healthier. I'm not putting in as much bacon. I am not using as much butter, and we're going to use a touch of olive oil. We're going to have enough fats going on here between the bacon and the butter and everything. So if we can try to cut it down a little bit, that is great. So instead of using half a stick of butter, I'm only using 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to come over with just a little bit of avocado oil, just a drizzle. I'm guessing that's about a tablespoon. And then we're going to preheat our pan. And we're going to make it on medium-high heat. Let's get this nice and hot. Let's wait for our butter to melt. And then we're going to throw in our onions, which I have chopped up here. I chopped up about a half of a large yellow onion and 4 slices of thick cut, uncured, natural bacon. All right, so let's get this to melt a bit here. Get it nice and hot, and then we'll throw in our bacon and our onions. Go Pack Go. It is Sunday football here. I am in Wisconsin. I am a huge Packers fan. Yes, I am. I got my Packers outfit on today, although you can't see it. All right, so we're gonna let this melt, and I'll come back in a moment. Okay, so our butter is melting, but I also wanted to mention, make sure you have your water boiling for your egg noodles. You're going to put in, the recipe originally calls for 8 ounces, which would be about half of this bag, and I like to use this brand, but a really good quality Amish egg noodle. I use wide. You can also use Haluski, which is a little bit smaller. But I'm going to use about half of this bag because then I'm going to split that between this recipe and my beef stroganoff that I've got going in the crock pot. Okay, so I threw in my bacon and onions, and they are getting sauteed and everything. My noodles are starting to cook. I do have the timer on. You're going to cook your egg noodles between 12 and 16 minutes. And then you're going to drain them off. But let's get this bacon cooked. It's got to be, nice and crispy and nice and dark. Okay, and then you're also going to throw in some salt and pepper to taste. You can put that in now if you want, or you can do it at the end. And I need to turn my pot down because it's going to boil over. Now, a little trick to prevent your pot from boiling over is you can put a spoon across the top, or you can leave the lid on and just, cock it so that it lets the steam out. But we're gonna get our noodles boiling here, and I'll be back in a minute. While all this is going on, you can go ahead and chop up a small head of green cabbage. I'm cooking for one person, so I'm probably going to use half of a head of cabbage, but you want it cut up into like diced chunks, diced pieces. Okay, things are coming along wonderfully, and it smells like heaven in here. Yes, I love the smell of bacon. Bacon makes everything better, in my opinion. If they could make a bacon scented perfume, I would definitely slather that all over myself before every date. I think it's a natural aphrodisiac to catch a guy. Anyway, we're going to let our bacon get more brown. It's not where I want it to be yet. And our noodles are still cooking. We've got about 2 minutes left on the noodles. We're going to take those out and drain them when they're done and set those aside. Okay, we're almost there. You can see that the onions and the bacon are starting to get golden brown around the edges. A lot of the fat has rendered off the bacon, and this is exactly why I don't think we needed to put a whole, like half a stick of butter in here. There's enough going on. So, like I said, just do like 2 tablespoons of butter. Maybe add like a tablespoon of avocado oil because it can, handle the high heat. And this would be good enough. Now, I did end up using a whole small head of cabbage, which we're going to add. But before we add the cabbage, we're going to add about a heaping teaspoon of minced garlic. This is fresh minced garlic, so we're going to throw some of that in there once our bacon is almost crispy. Okay, I cheated. There was so much oil in the pan, so what I did was I shoved everything over to one side, tilted the pan, and spooned off about 4 or 5 tablespoons of the grease that was in the pan. I left maybe about 2 teaspoons worth, and now I just threw in a heaping teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. We're going to stir that together for about 30 seconds and then add our cabbage. Okay, so we've added our cabbage and gave it a nice little stir. You're going to saute this on low to medium heat until the cabbage starts sweating and it gets nice and tender. This is going to take a few minutes. You just want to keep, give it a stir so nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan or gets burnt. Okay, we are almost ready to add the noodles, but I want to show you how much the cabbage shrunk down. And this was a whole small head of cabbage that I threw in here. To recap, I did this recipe with only 4 slices of thick cut bacon, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, and then after the onions and the bacon were completely cooked, I did drain off all but 1 tablespoon of the leftover grease, just to make it healthier. My arteries were screaming as I was making this. I'm like, well, it is a Polish dish, and they are known for very hearty food, and I am half Polish, but man, I'm like, yeah, no. And that was plenty. I mean, you're still getting... It's not going to be as oily or greasy, and I think it's going to be healthier this way. So we're going to give this a few more minutes, and we're going to add our cooked egg noodles. And voila, there is our completed Haluski. It smells amazing, and you can serve this as a side dish or a main dish, but this is perfect for cold weather. Very comforting Polish food, and it's just filled with love. It just takes me back to, sitting, at my grandfather's kitchen table. He was Polish, and he did a lot of the cooking in his household, and it just takes me back to childhood and all of the aromas that were coming from his little kitchen. So try out this recipe. Let me know what you think down below. And until I see you next time, be the love, be the light. Take care. Bye-bye.